Yeah. I yeah, sorry. Like I said, I don't think that I think we're probably gonna take Saturday and this Sunday off from it as I try to figure out a more I still like doing it at minimum 3 days a week. It's just a question of which days would be the best days to do it. And I also have to
Yeah, look,
keep
look, look. People who do it for a living do it 5 to 6 days a week.
Oh yeah,
So
exactly.
you're not trying to do this for a living. So yeah, like 3 days is plenty.
I mean, I do want to uh and of course
You
now I
still
can have
hang.
my
We can still hang out. We can still play games. We can still like all chat in Discord or whatnot. But like, I think there's plenty of material for editing and for everything like that with three tops 4 days of streaming. And the other thing is with 3 to 4 days, I think you have enough content to make a YouTube video to put up.
oh honestly, with the exception of the first two episodes, which I have up until this point just labeled "Gotta Glitch 'em All" part the first and part the second. Most
Mhm.
of that audio is just unsalvageable. I've tried
Yeah.
to like it's
But yeah, yeah, but it won't always be that way. I assume things are slowly progressing and getting better. Uh, but yeah, like what I'm saying is like with 3 days, 2 hours a day or whatever, that gives you 6 hours of content. I think I'm not sure, but I think within those 6 hours of content, there's good enough content to make like half an hour to an hour worth of YouTube video to post because that's one of the better ways to since Twitch only holds the video for 2 weeks or whatever it is. A lot of people post on YouTube, and people who have YouTube, what's that shit called? YouTube Premium, YouTube Plus, YouTube
hmm.
Red, whatever it's called. I don't know what it's called. They'll listen to like that's something that like people used to do at my last job. They would like put stuff up like listening to a podcast, but instead on YouTube.
Yeah, I've looked up some other stuff about streaming too, seeing that you can stream to multiple uh I guess what's the word here? Services. You can stream on YouTube and Twitch and various other websites. I don't really want to touch Facebook, but yeah. I've considered other options. I mean, long form, the idea for this is much larger than just a simple stream. But the issue there is trying to get everyone on track with it. And you can't really sell a very large group project to a group of people, say, when you don't have some kind of product ready to go. It's a lot easier to get other creatives that we know, for example, to get more involved with this if there's already some kind of promise that they have an audience. They want, essentially they want someone else to build the audience for them. And I'm not
Right.
necessarily
Yeah. Nobody
against it.
nobody wants to do this part. Nobody
Hmm.
wants to do this part. Everybody wants to join a team that's already successful. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense. I'm usually the guy who has to do the dirty work, write the pitch pilot, make sure that somehow all of these ideas fit into some sort of three-act structure. So I'm not necessarily against doing it in this case, but I think I'm going to need a day or two to rethink the angle with this. We've definitely got good content in the Pokemon experiences. If we can get our MC of ceremonies to stick with it to do the Pokemon shows, I think that would be a funny segment we could do once a week. Uh, my brother mentioned a few notes. We can go over them later. Mostly, he was surprised that it was actually enjoyable. So that's, at least he likes it. But he did have some tips and some, he's a little more knowledgeable about streams in general. So I ran this past him. But yeah, overall, I've got some ideas for this. We'll see how it goes moving forward. I'll probably rein it in definitely a bit. Probably Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That seems like a good setup. I mean, we're also competing with Amaranth, and I don't mean to like say that as a bad thing for her. Like, how am I supposed to compete with those fabulous knockers of hers? There's no way. I may as well just find a new time slot. And it's nothing against her. She deserves her crown. Give her 2 crowns, one for each titty. But I can't compete with
Uh,
that. I am a Janine Garofalo, and she is a beautiful princess. There's just no comparison.
but can she dance?
She doesn't have to dance. Have you seen her channel? Look at her. I know what reality is.
No, no, I haven't looked at her channel.
Mm. I suggest you do. It's a delight. I have no idea what game she's playing, but I'm sure she's playing the fuck out of it. But yeah, for example, if I did take more time to work out some stuff and work out some kinks, we can have fun intros like this.
To open Twitch. Okay.
Hi, Billy Mays here, and we are stuck in the grass, going in circles, lost completely any sight of the premise or what we're doing. We are wandering through the detritus and the decay. Uh, with me is Hocus, our substitute master of ceremonies for the evening. Say hello to the fine people, Hocus.
Good evening, fine people.
See, exactly. Wasn't that smooth? That's the showmanship. We gotta I gotta figure out how to rein this in together and make it a nice product for the people.
I dig it.
I'm also thinking of a way to stream We Was Adra, and I'm gonna actually have to go back and edit it because out of the 33 episodes I filmed, each of them about an hour and a half long, maybe like an hour and 20 minutes long. Uh, I've got 7 of them done. They don't take long to edit, but that is definitely something I should put together as well, and that'll give us another segment. I've also been in my spare time looking at things we might be able to do with animation and voice acting, which I know I could definitely get a lot of people involved in. The problem is I'm just going to have to be the one who does the animating. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. There's gonna be a lot of people. Gonna be a lot of people who want to just do the fun part of the project.
Yeah, and
But it's kind of hard to. It's kind of hard to avoid that.
I mean, we know people who could also do the animation as well, but it's not going to
Are you sure it's not just too much?
It's funny you knew exactly who I was talking about. Yeah,
I figured. I wasn't a complete stab in the dark.
yeah, God, that idea that, and I can't talk too much about that idea, but that idea for one, oh man, that would be hysterical. I think the world is ready for it, but it's just too much.
It is
But
just
it's
too
fine.
much.
I've got pitch pilots galore. I've got works of fiction I haven't finished. I've got books I need to edit. I've got and that's just me and my repertoire. That's not counting the music you have or the many unfinished works of our master of ceremonies. I think that we have the Weather Institute. DARPA. We found DARPA. Okay, I'm gonna come back to that later. Uh, but no, the I think we have a lot of material here, a lot of stuff that could create a lot of things. The problem is just getting it focused and then getting it going in the right direction. And the other problem is that, yeah, like, unfortunately, it's going to require work. Um, and I'm going to try to pick up as much of the slack as I can personally. But I mean, you know me. Uh, between work, interning, this, and all my other duties at home, it's I have definitely been letting a lot of stuff slide.
You sound like a professional Twitch streamer.
Oh God.
You already sound like one.
I mean, there's also the potential that I could turn around and force my brother to do this with me and play the one game he's forbidden me to ever
Good.
play.
That sounds like a good idea. Anyone you can force to like help take some of this workload. Yeah. Whether you have to force them or they want to or they beg to do it or they don't have a clue what's happening. Usually my understanding is that like the people who are your moderators at the beginning aren't necessarily your moderators 5 years from now. Like like they other things happen in their life. They get married, have kids, adopt a puppy,
Oh no, don't
get on a
worry.
spaceship and go to outer space. You know,
Don't worry, if anything
people.
major happens in either of your lives, I'll just sabotage it and keep you with me forever. That was meant to be a joke.
I'm gonna jump off a plane without a parachute and see you sabotage that.
I will come down there with a jetpack, and I will grab you and I will fly into the heavens, and I will make you stare at the sun, and I will say, Hocus, choose life. Do you
That's
see
a
that bright
headline.
burning
That's a
sun?
pitch. That's a totally that's a pitch we need to go throw at an exec. We need to be like, yo, listen, this is the show. This is the premise. Every time, every episode, once a week, I'm going to do something that if anybody else does this, it equals death. He's gonna sabotage it in some way so I survive. Like they're like, wait, but what if it doesn't work? It's like that's the whole gamble. You buy you buy a 28 episode season from us. If we don't succeed, I die. We lose, you lose. If we succeed, there's another season.
Yeah, exactly. Reality TV has become far too comfortable. They need to be concerned that, like, both of their cast members could die horribly in the middle of a season with nothing else to turn to. They have to be prepared to take risks. Hollywood used to be brave.
I remember when Jackass had airtime on MTV.
Oh,
Not that
jackass.
that was. I don't know if that was really brave though, but yeah,
Are those guys dead? Are they still? I mean, I think Jocko's still alive, but
they
Jocko wasn't
they
part of it, was he?
he was. They've lost a lot of their members to stupidity and to natural causes too, which surprised everybody. Everybody, I believe, everybody thought that they were going to die horrible death in pranks that went wrong, but no, a few of them, but some of them died from like drinking too much and shit like that. But I think one of them died in a car accident. I don't know if that was the same one. Overlapping story. Uh, I think one of them died of natural causes. I'm not sure though.
Huh.
But it's just kind of hard. Like that's one of those things. Like their life insurance policy had to look really funny. It's like, is there a policy in there about sticking Hot Wheels in condoms and then up your ass? It's in a condom. There's protection involved.
I don't know. What's the standard deductible for shoving a mechanical pencil up your dick hole?
I've never even pondered it, and I sold life insurance at one point. And it's just
If I
like
do wasabi shooters, will it increase my premium?
no, but I'll tell you this: for the price of one French fry, you could get life insurance for a month, but then you don't get your French
Billy Mays
fry.
here with the sale of a lifetime. My lifetime, that is.
Ouch. I feel like a bunch of people just rolled over crying in their bed. They're like, "I miss you, Billy. I miss you, Billy. Billy."
I mean, it happens. You've got to know that, like, that's the other thing with streaming. How many people do you think have just, like, died on air while streaming? There's
I'm
got to
not
be
sure, but
some.
I did love in Arrested Development when the fucking what was that thing called, the grill that he was trying to make, like it shot the oil out the side and like burned the crap out of that. No, is that what it was? I can't remember. He like one of the older brothers was like trying to make a quick get rich scheme or whatever, and was it the magician older brother? Shit. I can't remember this straight.
Job,
Uh,
the
uh, yeah, I want to say it was Job. Uh, and like the grill machine like burned people. Like it didn't like it would shoot oil out the side, and so like instead they try to sell it in a. Oh no, I might be confusing this with 30 Rock.
no, that was Arrested Development, the cornballer, and they had a because they didn't have any trials in Spanish or a lot of the court cases, all the stuff about the lawsuits with how it hurt people were in English. So they still sold it in Latin America. And so you have a commercial where the dad is getting covered with scalding oil and screaming and yelling at the other dude, and they're all just reacting with pain. But the dialogue voiceover is just like, ah, me gusta las cornballs. Soy loco por los cornballs. While he's like, just throttling the guy
Yeah.
who sprayed oil on him.
That was a good show. I miss Arrested Development. Although, as much as I feel like I feel that the last season that was by Netflix got a lot of praise. It just wasn't the same. Yeah, I'm not saying it was bad. It just wasn't the same. I really liked the way that the other ones were written more than when we got like a perspective from each member of the family.
Yeah, Netflix has definitely figured out that method to trick people into watching things because they feel like they have to. And I think that Arrested Development. So I tried to give season 4 a fair shake, but it just maybe if they had followed through, maybe if there had been a
Oh, like
season
an
5.
extra. Possibly, because then that would have meant some of those jokes could have hit better if they were lined up. We just didn't get to the point where they hit like grand slam. We just got the setup or whatever. Like sometimes a joke is better as a throwback than it is in the original instance.
Yeah, exactly. Or, if you're going to make a call back to the first season, maybe make sure your first season wasn't 10 years ago and you're on season 4. Just, thoughts. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
want to sound like I'm complaining about Arrested Development because it was a treasure, it was a gift, and everyone who participated in it did a favor to both humanity and America. But
Dang up job. I actually started thinking about heroes whenever you said that. I was like, oh man, that's. I think that show is probably one of the greatest about like pulling a reference from like 2 3 seasons before when the show is a time loop. It's not meant to like be called a time loop, but essentially that's what it is. Every season, someone decides like, no, I'm gonna make the ultimate sacrifice and send everybody back in time, so there's another chance to do this a different way. And somebody's like, oh, this time I'll be greedy and I'll be the bad guy. Like that's essentially what happens season 1, season 2, season 3, and then season 4 they introduce the carnival and then the show gets canceled. Like season 4 is the first one where they're like, let's do something different. And I mean, was it amazing? No, because a lot of the shock value from like, oh, these new powers, like, whoa, like a lot of that has already been done so much that it's not as amazing when there's a new power or whatever. Uh, but was it? Yeah, it was definitely very interesting, and it was definitely something new with an idea everybody didn't. We didn't want to see the idea keep getting run into the ground like they were doing. So like there was like the first flutter of new hope after 2 seasons of season 2 and season 3 being like reliving season 1 again, but with different and slightly different conditions. Uh, we get season 4. We go to the carnival. They're introducing a whole new like what's it called? Um, Deus Ex Machina kind of thing, like an Ex Machina. They're introducing a whole new like force into the ecosystem of heroes, and then they were like, I guess the sponsors were like, okay, that's enough. We have some new shows we can just flash up on TV. Let's replace heroes with 4400, where it's like 4400 people disappear across time and suddenly all drop out of the sky back onto Earth. or so, no, that's a different one. But there's a
Mm.
bunch of shows like that where suddenly a huge number of the population disappears, and then they all come back. And like in one version, like aliens abducted them, and now they're like they have powers. In another version, like they now instinctually know how to survive certain situations that are going to happen. Like they have like premonition powers or some shit like that. But I don't know. It's just
Hmm.
there's a bunch of shows that came out like that that were kind of ridiculous.
At first, honestly, I wanted to say that that sounds like some kind of plot device, but upon further reflection, it just sounds like a contrivance.
Which one? The carnival being added to Heroes, or making a bunch of people disappear and then reintroducing them to the population, and then like that was the premise. And then the thing that changes each one of the shows is the thing that made them disappear. The reason, like you never see the aliens. If you see the aliens, it's like the last episode of the season before the show's been canceled, right? Like they never explain like the reasoning behind that. It's just like the show, I guess, since they're all like one season before they get canceled, is like the interaction between the people who didn't disappear and the people who came back.
Hmm.
I don't know, dude. It was in my opinion, the shows like 4400 had no better value as content than Desperate Housewives. It's just that's literally what it was. It was like, let's see, oh shit, this guy disappeared 3 years ago, and his fiance ended up marrying someone else and having kids, and now he's back. And it's like, how are they gonna deal with it? It's sometimes that guy we were just talking about has a beer at the bar that's special for the fucking returnees. Let's call them the people who came back, the returnees. And he relates with this other guy whom has the exact same story, except it happened 50 years ago. So his wife is dead, and now he's like trying to date and find somebody. Like I don't know.
And this
Like
is Heroes?
no, this is 4400. This is the
Oh,
shows like yeah. This is the ones that like they're honestly give you the content they give you is just as good as like Desperate Housewives. It's like not very great. Like
no, I remember,
you're,
yeah, it's yet another one of those shows where the entire contrivance of it is that all of humanity disappeared except for the cast and whomever we decide to introduce later on for whatever reason.
yeah, it's kind of like it somehow has similarities to like the zombie apocalypse shows, where it's like,
Hmm.
oh, under these conditions, what would the Desperate Housewives do? Like, how can we dramatize the relationship between this group of people?
I mean, that's
We
kind
need
of,
external pressure. We need
yeah.
external pressure. The zombie apocalypse. The fact that they're being ostracized from the community because they were abducted by aliens, or they were. This is an alternate universe where the Titanic didn't sink; it just teleported into the future. Like just like crazy shit. Like
Oh, speaking of, sorry to shift the subject. Actually, no, I'll wait because I want to talk about what you just said. Because yeah, it does seem like that's kind of why I stayed away from streaming for so long, is because it's just in so many ways also about the degradation of culture. And this is definitely part of it, or reality TV too. Everything that strips us away from storytelling and narratives and the psychology of myths that we've had ingrained into our species for millennia, that's instinctual to us. It's another one of those things that, the corporate bug world, the great machine, global homo, whatever you want to call it, the regime, just capital R is the easiest way to just keep track of it. um, it's just another way to keep us disconnected from ourselves and each other. And so that's kind of why and corporations love it, because again, they don't have to hire a writing staff. most of whom are people that, as business people, they hate. They hate artists. They hate people who can create anything. They hate people who are actually able to make a product out of nothing. It's you can see it. It's very obvious from like Ayn Rand or any of the other thinkers that there is a deep seated resentment of the arts and creative types in general, and not really among entrepreneurs. Like, I got to make a distinction here between the money makers who are the entrepreneurs and the money appropriators who are just sort of like the, educated class, the lawyers, the doctors, the people who, just kind of still, despite their wealth and education, find ways to. They don't really create anything. They're still just finding ways into organizations, finding positions, and within hierarchical structures and milking that. They aren't really actually
Yeah,
of that ilk.
repeating a process, making
Yeah.
money through repeating a process.
And those are the
If
worst
you
ones
think of a
about it,
doctor,
honestly.
if you think of a doctor as a machine used to do medicine or whatever.
Honestly, I think of most doctors as, mad Nazis. I think most
I
doctors have a
mean,
deep seated contempt for most Americans.
I'm pretty sure that yes, and that most doctors lash out on their patients.
Oh, they do.
I have no doubt. I feel like almost every experience I've had with a doctor, I can like if I psychologically and not analyze it, like they definitely lash out at you and treat you a certain way. Like if a doctor has children and he's like fighting with his kids and he sees you as a child or whatever, like immature or whatever, he'll fucking talk to you that way. It's just like, who the fuck are you? Where did you just come from? Like, what just happened? Did your wife bitch you out and say like you're not there for your kids and now you want to be here for me? Like, what is this? Like, wait, last time I saw you, you didn't even fucking look up from your notepad. You just like wrote a prescription and walked out. And I was like, what's this for? Like, you just walked out. And then this time you're like, this is the way you should be eating and make sure that you do this. And when you take a shit, pop a squat because it's healthier for your rectum
Oh, it
or something.
absolutely is. That is
Like,
true. No, dude, one time, just again, one time I actually was living with my dad for a while, and with my work schedule, I was getting home and going to bed right around the time he was getting up. Like, I was getting home and going to bed around like 2 or 3 in the morning, and that was when he would get up to go to work, and we only had one bathroom between the two of us. So one night I just couldn't wait, and I just had to go literally uh, dig a hole in the backyard. We had a privacy fence, thank God. Um, but it was, I won't go too into detail, but it was perhaps the most relieving and enjoyable experience of my life. I bought a squatty potty, swear by it.
next time, I mean, something like newspaper. Something like newspaper. You just put that on the ground.
Break free of the artificial hegemony of the toilet.
I mean,
But no,
there's
I don't
plenty
know.
of other reasons. Here, look. If you don't wanna admit that like the toilet isn't good for you and blah blah blah. Here, use this reason. If you're a guy, say that it's because like your penis is so long it hits the toilet bowl and you hate that shit, and so like that's why you're done with toilets.
I thought that was a tiny
There.
penis issue. I guess it's either or, really, now that I think about it. Clearly, I hadn't thought about it that much.
I mean, women are always like, "Why don't you sit?" It's like there's a reason. Like, there's a reason to
Oh, they
stand.
just
It's
want to
like
bitch about everything. It's
toilets
like
aren't
man
designed.
spreading or whatever else. It just gives them
Toilets are
something to
not
bitch about.
designed. Toilets are not designed for a guy's junk.
That is true. They should have like a little crotch seat, like a bike seat. Hims and hers
It
toilets.
should it should have a temperature control and a vibrating massage feature.
God, they have all the weather machines set up in this volcano. But no, sorry. Back to back to the hard hitting television commentary. That's one of those things like what was that other show? My mom showed it to me where a guy It's something about the end of the world. Another one of those trite post-apocalyptic dystopias, and the uh, the whole premise is that it opens up and we're in a classroom and the teacher's like, giving the kids a lecture on all the things that happened prior to the show so that we all know exactly why they ended up the way that they did. It's one of those things where I'm just like, God, you just really didn't want to try hard, did you? It's like fan fiction. You could have taken the extra 1.5 steps necessary to make this something original, and you didn't because you're either lazy or you don't have it in you.
I like the excuse that it's tribute.
Exactly, it's an excuse. Or they'll use the whole
For
thing
it,
about
for
like
it to be
identity politics now.
for it to be tribute, it'd have to be able to stand alone, and then you change the name or whatever in tribute. Like,
Honestly, I had planned on trying to figure out what the Team Rocket in this region was and seeing like, oh man, after the disappointments of Team Rocket in this area, I guess I'll try this place, but they're so disappointing in reality that I can't even think about it. It's like trying to join a criminal organization and finding out they just want to protect the oceans, and it's not like the real NGOs in our world that are just fronts for child trafficking. At least then I could try and take that down. But
oh, you're putting too much of a positive spin on it. They weren't trying to protect the oceans. They're trying to turn everything into an ocean.
I think these are the guys who want to make everything Pangea again. I don't know. The
Oh, the
only
red one.
real the only real thing for Hoenn that it's got going for it is the Elon Musk champion and Steven. That's it. Everything else is just,
Is that the white-haired guy?
yeah, I think so. He has a suit.
I didn't watch that. That season wasn't available on Poke TV whenever I was like watching back through the Pokemon.
Oh, that's how you've seen all the animes. I was wondering. I was like, are they
I
just on
haven't seen
YouTube?
I haven't seen all of them. Well, they might be on. I don't know if Poke TV is available through a web browser. I watched it through my Switch. Poke TV is an app on the Switch, and but you don't. They control which seasons and they like rotate them and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So that's why I haven't seen all of it because that was one of the shows that I like sat down. Right now, I'm watching One Piece. Uh, the what's it called? Not subbed, the dubbed one. I'm watching it dubbed in English. Uh,
Mm.
but I was doing that with Pokemon on Poke TV, and then they were just like cutting seasons off, and I was just like, okay. For like the first 2 weeks, or maybe the first week, they had every episode, every season. And then all of a sudden they I think they have like a total of like 8 seasons up at a time, something like that.
Oh man, see, I was thinking they would just cut you off in the middle of a season where it's like, oh no,
They do.
is Squirtle going to be able to defeat Pidgeotto for the diddling badge? We'll never know now. We just skip straight to season 10 and now he's in the fucking Fluffle region.
It feels that way. It feels the way that like the there's a lot of arcs that are cut off like that halfway through because like the season ends there and like they haven't finished the region. Some regions last like most of the regions last like I want to say like 6, 7 seasons. It's not like in Kanto that Ash just fucking flies through it. Ash is out of Kanto in season 1 or 2. I forget. I think it's in season 1 he finishes Kanto. No, it's season 2. Season 2 he finishes Kanto and moves on to Johto. Uh, the other ones like I think Pokemon's on season 25 or 26 right now. Like the other ones get a they get a good amount of time that he spends there.
Good lord. I mean, hey, milk it until it's dead, I guess.
It's supposed to be dying right now. I mean, they're doing the final championship tournament or whatever. What is it called? The coronation tournament. Series, the Coronation series. Yeah,
If the
that's what it
franchise
is.
is dying, it's because they make decisions like Pokemon Go and let third parties create
No,
games like
I'm not
this.
saying the franchise is dying. I'm saying they're killing Ash. They're finally going to stop the series following that kid. Finally going to stop it.
Oh, so who are they gonna
Who knows?
replace him with?
I don't know if they're going to replace them or they're going to go a different way. I don't know what they're going to do.
They should make it a black woman, that way they're free of all criticism.
I mean, but okay. What? So her skin color's black and she's a female. But where is she from? Because a black woman acts different. You know, it's like anybody acts different if they're from Louisiana or if they're from New York or if they're from California or they're from Utah or if they're from Texas or if they're from it depends where you grew up. I imagine people from England act different than people from in the States.
It's funny because that's basically the argument they use to say that whiteness doesn't exist. You're not white, you're Italian or Polish or British or Franco, Anglo, Spain, whatever. But you get the same thing for the fact that blackness doesn't exist. You're not really black, you're African or you're Caribbean, you're Creole, Canadian, German, whatever. Same thing. That game can be played any way you want to.
It really can
I mean, for a long
discriminate
time.
on how much hair someone grows on their body. You don't have enough hair. You are not allowed to eat in this restaurant. Get the fuck out of here.
If anything, they would probably want to get rid of the people who have too much, like in Brave New World. All genetic
No, it's
engineering will just be
commodity.
designed to make people more sexually appealing. Have we been joined by our MC of ceremonies?
I'll go check. I will go check and see
Oh,
who
it's
we got.
Sad Boy. Hello, Sad Boy. Welcome to the show. Maybe? Hmm.
Cool. Sad boy can lurk for a while. It's all right. Welcome, sad boy. Hope you're having a good evening.
Well, you can cut the tension with a knife, a scissor.
I was trying to cut it with a lighter, but
I mean, that could also probably work. But no, like I don't know. Hoenn has just been a gigantic disappointment. I can really tell that, like, they just did not. This was the most joyless
having
cash grab
having
of all the
two
Pokemons.
having two rivals is not a good idea.
Oh, then you're gonna love Black and White.
No, you're kidding.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's Unova. My bad. That's what I'm talking about. My bad. I still haven't gotten to Hoenn. I'm sorry. It's Unova where you have two rivals. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not. I didn't like that. It's not fun. And they show up at the worst fucking times too. They're like, "Did you just fight the gym leader and then the other rival?" My turn. It's just like, who are you? Why?
Yeah, and it was just another example of Pokemon really going down the rabbit hole of that globalist one world where what was it, a Meowth in that movie with Mewtwo where he's talking about, hey, well, we all live under the same star, so it doesn't matter if you're a clone or a natural born Pokemon. You're not an abomination to God created by a renegade science experiment trying to take over the world. You're just like me. Meowth. It's kind of the same
I
thing
like that.
where, huh?
I like that his clone. I like that Meowth's clone cannot talk.
I don't think any of the clones could talk, could they? They just growled.
Yeah, Meowth was the only one that could, like Team Rocket Meowth could talk, and then Mewtwo clones all the Pokemon, including Team Rocket's Meowth, and Team Rocket's Meowth couldn't speak.
Well, because you don't teach a Meowth to speak through genetics. You teach a Meowth to speak through ritualistic torture.
I mean, possibly, but these Pokemon knew all the other Pokemon's moves. I don't know all the moves that the Pokemon did, but every time that they showed two Pokemon fighting, the two Pokemon would do the exact same move at each other and draw. It would be a draw. I remember like it was one of those annoying like Dragon Ball Z powering up like that they show the guy screaming and powering up for like fucking 6 hours before anything happens. Like it was that was what that movie did. The Pokemon movie. They would have the Pokemon fighting its Mewtwo psychic clone, and they would both do like two. What are they called? Nido Queens would do like body slam at each other, and both of them would hit, and both Nido Queens would be like, "Oh, that hurt. I'm tired. Heavy breathing." And then it would be like the two Pikachu's, and both Pikachu's would do Thunder Shock at each other, and the Thunder Shocks would hit each other and cancel out, and both Pikachu would be like, "Oh man, that's a tough Pikachu." And then it goes to the next, and it just would do that with every single Pokemon. And then it would be like the human characters would be like, oh my gosh, how are we gonna beat them? I don't know." And then it goes back to that first Pokemon, and they both hit each other with the same attack again. It was that movie was like an hour and a half of that.
I mean, let's be honest, most anime is half an hour to an hour and a half of that.
Yeah,
I mean, I like anime and
most
I'm
yeah
saying that.
yeah no, it's true. Most anime is that. I mean, that's one of the things that like really sold me on like Shield Hero, the tiny, 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 insignificant. Like I don't think it even exists. Now that I'm thinking about it more, the recap. I don't know if there even is recap in Shield Hero.
Oh,
I don't
Shield
think there's
Hero.
any
Yes,
recap
the
in Shield
adventures
Hero.
of Captain Micropenis. That was the whole premise. Like that was the whole bit. He's a neutered, castrated male. He's not. He doesn't have a sword. He doesn't have an axe. He's not a fighter. He's got a shield, and he's a joke to even the women. He is every man who is cast down by society. And I don't think that those men should be trying to chase heroism or chasing any kind of, acclaim
Maybe,
from those people who ridiculed or mocked him. He should be finding his own way, so that one day when the water is dry and the crops have died, they will come crawling to him, and there will be no room at the inn.
maybe. I mean, that's one way, I guess, to look at it. But there is another way where it's like, every woman becomes his slave and falls in love with him.
That
He
sounds
slave
tedious.
crusts. He slave crusts all these women. They volunteer. Like they're like, I want to do it. Make me your slave. And he's like, okay.
Just being in
That,
a
that,
relationship with one person is so much effort. I can't imagine actually being in a harem anime situation.
Now, it sounds like you've never owned a slave. I don't think you understand how it works.
I
I've
just
never
feel
owned a slave. I don't really understand how it works. But in the show, apparently, like, it's the worst thing ever. But he's an amazing slave owner. Like the girls even suggest it to the new girl. They'll be like, "Hey, no, he's amazing. You got to trust me. Like, you want to be his slave." Trust me, he's amazing. Like
I feel like that's some kind of
you
point
need to watch
that's
Shield Hero. it's
yeah.
it's funny, dude.
I feel like that's a point that's added to it simply for the effect of pandering to what they think the male audience would want. I don't know. Again, I just feel like in that situation, I would easily forget to stay hydrated.
Uh, I mean, maybe, except like you pick up a slave that's a cleric, and then you're good.
if we keep blending these D&D references, I'm gonna have to inevitably make this a tabletop segment. Or is that part of your plan?
Cleric, cleric isn't like definitively D&D exclusive. Cleric is kind of like a role that's used in many things, isn't it?
Your clever subterfuge will not fool me. But no, it will inevitably be
I'm
happening,
not.
don't
I'm
worry.
not the one that's supposed to do the subterfuge. That's your job.
Oh,
We,
oops.
we need it. We need to pitch that idea. Let's see what Sad Boy thinks about that idea. Wait, Sad Boy, are you here? Don't tell me he's muted and he doesn't know it.
I have no idea.
Nah.
I am viciously entangled in a conflict with a Golbat that's getting a mite bit
Did he
too
mean look
uppity.
you? Did he mean look you? You can't run away.
No, I giga drained.
Ooh, a Golbat with Giga Drain?
You know how it is.
I don't usually run moves like that on a Golbat. But it's turned out so good on my Gengar. Like I, I can't believe I've never put Giga Drain on a Gengar before this playthrough.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I don't know. What were we talking about?
um,
Oh right, Pokemon and the clones and the whole globalism thing. Yeah, they that was one thing they added with the that's one thing they added with the I think it was
Logo.
black and white. Hello?
Oh, yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes.
hey, Sad
Oh
Boy.
shit. Oh, my bad. I'm so sorry. I thought I was on. I was talking, trying to talk to y'all, but apparently y'all couldn't hear me. So I exited out and just came back.
How did we do in like whenever you were talking to us and we couldn't hear you? Did we include you in the conversation okay, or did we completely like talk
Oh
about
no,
stuff you weren't talking about?
oh no, y'all were cool. I was just listening to y'all because y'all had a conversation. I was like, this sounds pretty interesting.
Listen, I had we came up with this idea for a TV show. So here's the pitch. You got to buy the season, right? You got to pay us for like the full like 28 episodes off the bat. But every episode, one guy is going to do stuff that like normally guarantees death, equals death for sure, like jumping out of a plane without a parachute. And the other guy's job is to subterfuge his plot and save his life somehow. Jumping off with two parachutes, maybe, or jumping off with one and trying to catch up to the guy and like open up the parachute and save him, like,
Right.
every episode. And if it works out, then we get a season two. Everybody lived, everything's good. If we fail, well, that's the name of the show. You took a gambit and you lost. You paid for 28 episodes, and both guys that were going to get paid died. It didn't work out.
Sounded like it sounded more like D&D. I mean, I don't know too much about D&D, but it did sound like scenario plots.
I mean, I guess like what one guy could be like, he could have a bunch of like blood pouches like around him that have been like poked with needles, and he's thrown into like a pool of sharks, and the other guy has to like come save him
Now that definitely
with a
is something I've done to y'all in D&D before.
I mean, AC works underwater. You can still do your attempt to not get eaten. Hondur. I didn't realize how good Hondur is until I was like fighting Alakazam in Sabrina's gym, and I started using Signal Beam, and I was like, oh my gosh, you can't fight her with a dark type because the Signal Beam will just rip through them. But Hondur's fire also, so bug type is not as effective against it.
Yeah, I mean that's something you got to keep in mind with the later editions is you have to worry about typing and move sets. But I mean, it's passable.
Oh, I have the worst luck. I have the worst luck. If a move has a chance to stun, confuse, cause flinch, paralyze, if there's a chance a move will do something, whenever it's used against me, it will do it. And if I am confused, I will hit myself. Like, I have the worst luck in Pokemon games when it comes to that.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like if you just get a high enough level, you can steamroll over anything in this game.
For the most part, yeah. Every now and then you run into a stupid situation where like there's an NPC who has like trick room and skill swap and blah blah blah, and they just kind of wreck your shit. Or if you're running a sweeper, somebody who has like roar or whirlwind, but like you set up. Oh my god, dude, that's so annoying. Whenever you like you get the Gyarados out there. The rain dance is going. You get the Gyarados out there, and you do your two swords dance. I mean, sorry, your two dragon dances, and then you're about to start attacking, and then the enemy does like what's that other move? I think it's like Aqua Tail or something, or Dragon Tail. Like that also like forces you to switch Pokemon. Yeah, that shit's so annoying.
Hmm. I'm trying to remember a time when I actually ran into that before. You're doing the Sinnoh region, right?
I'm doing them both at the Sinnoh and Kanto at the same time.
Oh.
I figured since I caught up with the EV team, I caught up in gyms to where I was in Kanto. I was like, I'll just do them both instead of raising a team in each one and like it'll take me twice as long. I'll do a gym in one and then go to the other side and do a gym over there. The only problem I've run into is you actually get different HMs and access to using them in a different order in Kanto than you do in Sinnoh.
What do you mean?
So
Oh, you
that
mean
was
the order that you travel in the map?
Yeah, like when you get fly, like you don't get them in the same order.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Fly, surf, cut, rock smash, because rock smash is not important in Kanto. If I remember correctly, I don't think rock smash is used outside of battle in Kanto. Strength is.
Oh yeah, I guess
So
they
that's
never did
another one.
implement that function was not implemented in Kanto.
Waterfall's another one that like doesn't work outside of battle in Kanto. But waterfall is a move that is naturally learned by level up for Sea King and what's its face? Goldeen. I was watching this speedrunner doing a like a Pokemon race. And because he knew that, he was able to use waterfall to well go up a waterfall and catch what's the Kyogre? Kyogre? The water one that for Team Aqua that you were fighting?
I mean, I've never played this one, and frankly, it's mostly a blur. I'm just trying to get through to the end. Is there a shop here? Oh, it's one of those malls. I just need to restock on basic supplies. I don't need to go to JC Penney for Pokemon.
How'd that Vulpix turn out? I thought I saw it as a Ninetales in your party a little bit ago.
It's getting the job done. I wouldn't say it's wowing me, but it's getting the job done. I just needed something that would be a fire type, and I didn't want to double up on the fighting because of the Breloom. So,
If I
Vulpix or
remember correctly,
Growlithe.
like Vulpix can get some pretty good special attack setups. Like I think he gets access to Nasty Plot which like gives you 2 stacks on special attack. I believe it gets Dark Pulse. What else does it get? It definitely, like it definitely gets access. Fire type has a lot of special attack moves, so it gets access to a bunch of those too.
Oh yeah.
But I can't remember. It had something that really caught my eye. I want to say it could cast like Thunderbolt or something like that, but I can't remember what it was.
No clue. I know Gyarados can learn Thunderbolt. No idea why that is. Oh well. It
Yeah,
doesn't really matter.
but
We're all going to die in a war soon, anyways.
Pokemon. You know what time it is, kids? It's time to hold your breath because the nuclear waste in the air is gonna come to consume you.
Did,
Pokemon.
did you see that ridiculous ad that aired that was like trying to like a PSA for a nuclear war, but in today's day and age? And it was like, of course, it's a woman of color in a suit who comes out and says, "This is it. A nuclear bomb has been dropped. Don't ask questions as to why or how it happened. Just know that the big one has gone down, and now we know what to do." And I'm just like, wow, that literally is their rhetorical strategy. Like they just try to act serious and composed. They want you to think they're professional, and then they just explain away any questions you might have about their ridiculous premises to whatever contrived plot they have. Like it's oh god, these people are idiots.
It, yeah.
I mean, the Florida, not to go back on teachers again, but the Florida Teachers Union has openly stated that they're going to oppose everything the governor is doing and that they're just going to break the whole full school system from the inside. And I'm like, okay, well, once you admit that, you should just be fired. Like, at a certain point, you just have to accept the fact that people hate you and you have to, deal with them.
I mean, uh, you can, or you can fucking be a piece of space rubble trying to fight through the atmosphere onto the planet and burn up and be nothing.
I feel like that's about what 95% of all people, regardless of political affiliation, are doing. So,
So I just want to let you know I'm proud of you for stating the truth out loud. Cling.
interesting. I found a room full of balls, electrodes.
Some of them, most likely.
Do I have to knock them out to shut down the weather machine?
Um, I can't see like the streams trying to load for me right now, but I would
Oh,
say most likely there's places where you have to put them in to power something.
hmm.
Are you in Kanto? Because that if it's Kanto, then it's something different. But if you're in, where did I see that
Imagine you're on
video?
a
Oh,
camping
shit.
trip or something. You just take an electrode out. Sorry, buddy. We're gonna have to stop Team Rocket today. Electrode, electrode, and you just shove him into the battery. Electrode, electrode. Energy just flies out of everything, and but hey, now you can charge your laptop,
Now your electric toilet can power your butt cheeks.
and
I
then they
mean,
self
heat up
destruct from the trauma.
your
No, I'm just kidding. Only humans self destruct from trauma.
Huh? Is that true?
I mean, once
That
again, I
sounds
feel
like
like we're
pretty
witnessing it
true.
happen in real time.
It sounds believable. But I've heard that there's animals that, like, if you kill their mate or whatever, they'll just fucking sit there till they die.
I
That
don't know if
sounds
that's
like
true or not, or if that's just another lie that the GPG wants us to believe so that we think that we're actually
a
friends with the
well,
Pokemon, when in reality, as soon as things go tits up, as much as we might say that humans and Pokemon are all the same and that we're all in this together, the Pokemon are going to turn on you as soon as the things go tits up because they are Pokemon and you're a human and you are not of the same tribe. Hard facts.
maybe.
It's them or us, dude. It's us or the Pokemon.
I
I
do
seem to have
like the
lost sight of the
idea.
premise again.
No, no, I think we're intentionally shifting our view from the premise, because I want to move to the idea of like, well, what if we don't need Pokemon to enact the violence that we use Pokemon to enact? Because nobody tries to get a Raichu to fucking make a sandwich or some shit like that. Everyone gets a Raichu to fucking blast something with electricity, right?
Well, yeah, but this is why the global Pokemon government got rid of guns, so that everyone would
But
have to
what
rely
if
on Pokemon.
Hmm. All right, I see where you're going with this. I was going the other way. I was like, well, what if people could do the move instead? Would it, well, I guess I'd be moving towards the Harry Potter world. I don't like that. Fuck it. Let's go back to the Pokemon.
No, actually, it's funny that that game I was telling you in MC Drama about the other day, Evertale. One of the ads, I found some of the ads on YouTube, a whole list of them, and it seems like I'm not the only person who found that to be one gigantic turd in the punch bowl. So other people have pointed it out and shown how it was just complete, false advertising, trying to make it look like a horror game or something. So I could actually, I might actually grab some of those and show them to you next time. Like I said, by spacing this out and not doing it every night, that would actually give me time to include other things in the stream like pop culture references. I also need to get my Twitter account back so that my memes won't be so stale. You can tell I haven't been on social media for about half a year at this point.
Yikes. How long was that ban?
It's not really a ban, it's just that they think they're going to trap me with some ancient Pajiti trick and it's not going to work. Like, they did that thing where they say, "Oh, one of your tweets was too spicy, Mr. Man, so we're locking your account, and you need to review that tweet and see what you did." And I'm like, "Okay, fair." Some days I wake up and I get onto social media and I haven't had my coffee and cigarette yet, and so I'm a little testy. And so maybe I said something that was a bit untoward. Whatever. I'm not perfect. Fine. Show me what I said. Show me the tweet, and I'll review it. And if it's bad, I'll delete it. Fine. And when I agreed to that, they immediately turned around and said, actually, we don't care about the tweet, but we do need you to give us your phone number for security reasons.
Oh, you hadn't put your phone number to the account yet?
No, why would I do that? Do you know all
Oh,
the
then
things that Twitter corporate has done that's just straight up evil? I mean, not even just with COVID. Like the people
so,
who run Twitter
so
are
sacrifice,
demons, and I
sacrifice
mean
the
that
Twitter,
figuratively.
sacrifice the Twitter address book and start a new Twitter.
Oh, they want you to. I think that's a new policy they've implemented. If you want to start a new account on Twitter, you have to give them your phone number.
A lot of things are doing that now.
Yeah, it's all part of a way of trying to keep track of you by creating an entire database that uses your phone number as a way to track you or as a complete record of your phone numbers.
That's
This is why
that's
it'd be
why
really
Skype,
advisable to just get a new phone number every year or two.
or just use Skype, because you can have a different phone number on Skype every time.
Interesting. I was not aware of that. Go on.
You can ask it to generate a phone number. And so it generates a phone number. And I'm pretty sure you can use that phone number and answer it because it even can go two-way SMS, which, if I understand correctly, that means you can do text messages. Like you can send and receive text messages on there.
Hmm.
So with that, you should be able to pass most what's it called, 2-point verifications or whatever. Like, if you're making a Google account and you give it a phone number and it'll text you a 6-digit PIN to put back into Google to verify your account.
Interesting. See, I hadn't thought about that. I had bought a burner phone, but I just hadn't bought the plan for it yet because the burner phone was like $20. I figured,
I'd be
hey,
the
might be
best friend
useful.
in the Hawaiian. If you're gonna be a spy, can I be the best friend in the Hawaiian T-shirt that smokes cigars and drinks martinis and gets shot every season at the end of the season, but doesn't die? Although the season kind of leaves it like he's in the hospital and we don't know.
You already are, buddy. Don't you worry. You already are. And we're in bat country.
Oh man, I don't like that country. Oh well, it's hard to make. It doesn't have good weather for martinis.
Oh, see, I was hoping that would be a Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Never seen it.
It's been ages. It's been 16 years maybe since the last time I saw it. Uh, Dang, dude, that's crazy. Anyways,
I'm sorry. I've been challenged by this guy who says he's a cut above the other grunts, but frankly, he looks like all the other ones to me. It's
is
all a
his
blur.
name with a capital G?
He's some kind of admin. Maybe he's the HR executive for them.
Is the music different?
Oh, I have no idea. I have that muted.
Oh, okay, okay.
Don't even want to risk that copyright sandwich.
For me, the stream is still trying to load.
Really. Hey, just try refresh. Wait a second. If you're not on the stream, then who are the other viewers?
They are me from other timelines because Twitch, in order to boost viewership, has become inter timeline dimensional.
Oh, it's more CERN shit. You know, it's funny they they turned CERN back on, and then all of this started happening again. Like I know that all of the stuff about Operation Looking Glass and all the alien technology stuff. I mean, the aliens and the deep state are such a complicated thing, and it's so difficult to try and get past the idea that so many people think that you think that they're in league with aliens, as opposed to no, the aliens are a metaphor for a religion that has existed for thousands of years. It might be the oldest religion on the planet, even older than Hinduism. Even it might be the one mystery tradition at the heart of everything, and it is the religion of spies, and it's witchcraft. Gnosticism has a lot of different forms, but essentially they know by that religion and its practices and the wisdom of that religion that you can control people uh, through. Do I want to learn Dark Pulse? Nah, don't need it. That you can control people through manipulation tactics. And one of those things is convincing people that you're a lot more powerful than you are. So they want us to think that they have Looking Glass. They want us to think that they have alien technology. They want us to think that they're in league with the mantises or have a hollow base in Mars or whatever, so that we don't realize that they're all basically incompetent pencil pushing bureaucrats who lucked into some sort of administrative hierarchy and now have to make a living overthrowing democratic republics in other countries just so they can make their house payments.
Uh,
But they need us to think that they're all powerful. They need us to think that they're, you know.
when did people stop believing in the IRS? I remember they used to tell me as a child that the IRS was real. No one gets away from the IRS. Al Capone fell to the IRS. The IRS, and like, and that all I can remember now as an adult is like, this person fucking didn't pay taxes. They committed tax fraud. Oh, we know they committed tax fraud, but I never hear that person went to jail for tax fraud or that person got fined for the tax fraud or whatever.
I mean,
I just reports it happened.
yeah, I mean, the to me it's like to me it's like it's kind of like the whole question people had of like, well, why is the IRS buying all of this ammo? Why? Well, it's not because they're preparing for a war per se. It's because they're just playing the marketplace, and they know that we we're going to be playing the gun control game, and when the gun control game gets played, prices get hiked. So they can buy the ammo, wait until people panic, and then sell the ammo for a profit. And then, oh look, the IRS just made a nice, comfy profit for itself. Not that it's going to apply it to any of your back taxes.
Ooh, I accidentally unmuted the stream and I was like, why are you saying the exact same thing again?
That's because I've transcended space and time. Hocus, hocus, hocus. I've come to you from the future, future, future.
That's amazing. I do that with my guitar sometimes.
Buy gold. Honestly, you're better off planting
Gold,
potatoes than buying gold right now.
gold. Now that's that's sorry. Gold for sale. $200. Wait, is that 2,200 or 400 or how does this work out?
You know, it's funny. I've actually been seeing much more honest advertisements about the value of gold as being essentially a buffer against inflation. Like you
Hmm.
transfer your assets from US dollars into gold before the inflation gets bad. And so you weather the inflation with the gold that's not going to have the same amount of value that the USD would have. It's not going to fluctuate like that. And you're not really going to spend the gold. You're just waiting until things level out again. And then you convert the gold back into USD. They don't want to spin it that way in any way that makes sense because, well, one, most people in the liberal media don't know how money works. And two, they don't want you to know that because they want you as deprived and, dependent as possible. And so anything they do that can hurt you is to their
It's
benefit.
easier. Yeah, it's easier to control the ignorant.
Oh, yeah. That's why I've been trying to pass off my survival garden to everyone in the family as just, well, hurricane season might happen, and grandma had a garden in the depression that helped her get through the
Remember
hard times.
grandma? Remember grandma? Grandma had a garden. Yeah, we should all have gardens too.
Yeah, no one's really taking to it, unfortunately.
Well, okay, tell them that Trump said we shouldn't have gardens.
Tried that. That was the old reverse psychology is not going to work either, tragically.
Trump said we should all invest in Whole Foods groceries, and none of us should be growing our own food. That
People
growing
are
our own
going
food
out
is
here.
waste.
They're planting potatoes. They're planting tomatoes. They're planting carrots. It's a whole mess. Some of them are very nice. I mean, that is kind of funny though. Like, as much as people want to complain about immigration or Trump or anything like that, we both are very familiar with many people who are here illegally, and the only ones who ever had any concerns or who were worried during all of that were the ones who ended up getting pulled over for other things. Like, if you didn't get pulled over for anything and you were here illegally, you were pretty much not going to be targeted for anything.
Well, I actually know of people who did shit like stabbed somebody and did stuff like that. That they got deported and came back illegally. No problem. No fucking problems. And then it was
Exactly.
like, hey, wait a second. You haven't paid child support in like 12 years. And then whoop, he disappeared. He didn't even leave the country, but he disappeared.
Well, you have to understand, Hocus, he is a victim of colonialism, and you're a terrible bad person for even thinking that he shouldn't stab people. You know, for all you know, stabbing people could be part of his culture. You're a racist.
You know how dangerous it is to have to just brandish a blade? It's much safer to put it in somebody than to just be walking around with the blade exposed to the open. The dangers to nicking the blade or to stabbing it into somebody unintentionally are just way too high. Just look at somebody, look right down the middle of their body, and then aim like 4 inches to the left or to the right. That way you don't hit the spine and damage your blade. And then once it's in them and they start like going like just like put your hand gently over their mouth and then like with the other hand just brush their hair back a little bit and whisper in their ear like, no, it's okay. Gonna be all right. Don't worry. Don't let them fall. Help them to the ground. Gently lay them on their side. And now your blade is safe. Your blade is perfectly safe. You found a good place to keep it. It'll be warm. It'll be warm for like all the way to the hilt when you brandish it in the next time that you need to use it. Like there you go. You can take a nap. You know when you wake up, your blade will still be there. Hitchhiker's Guide to uh, Murder Hobo's D&D campaign.
No, I mean, you were spitting the wisdom of a wild and free Ronin. I loved it. I was there for it.
You want to make the person feel as comfortable as possible.
Do you?
I mean, if you want to enjoy it, if not, then just keep walking past. It'll be insignificant that way. The soul just comes out the body and disappears. If you make eye contact as the soul comes out, it becomes yours.
Really?
Oh my gosh, dude. You didn't know this?
I thought that was a Harry Potter thing.
I feel like you've wasted so many souls. It's cool. Souls aren't all that powerful. They work just like in Skyrim. They use them to power soul gems. The soul gem is really powerful.
Hmm. Oh, I guess I could stream Skyrim. No. No. Right away, that just seems like a bad idea.
Why? Because everyone else has done it?
No, it seems like the most popular game people are streaming on Twitch is Minecraft. Or at least that's the one it keeps suggesting to me.
A lot of people play Minecraft.
It's
Hey,
streamable.
I'm not complaining though. I like Minecraft, but I'd be complaining if you had said Roblox.
Oh, Roblox.
I
Oof.
get it, but that doesn't mean I have to like it.
Nah, I don't want to really contribute to
No,
Nancy
please
Pelosi's
don't.
insider trading.
Please don't. I'd rather eat crayons. I don't want anything to do with Roblox.
What even is Roblox? Is it just like Legos meets Minecraft?
The game engine is pretty open, so that people can like make servers with a lot of conditions and stuff like that. There's a lot of like games that people make within Roblox, and you can set economies up and junk like that inside. Like it's just kind of like a game engine.
Hmm. Okay. No, I've been thinking. No, if I'm gonna do anything other, other streaming things on here, I want to do almost obscure things like Lego Island Adventure from the late '90s or
Oh my gosh,
Draken.
the PC one that was so good. Lego. I love that. Holy crap.
Oh yeah, no, the original Lego Island definitely cemented my love of.
From the first time I ever played it, I was like, wow, this would be a difficult acid trip. And I've never really had access to the game and acid at the same time. But I've always been curious. Like how intense could I handle? Could I handle LSD and Lego Island? Is that possible? I don't know. I don't think so.
Hmm, that would be a fun challenge, though. I've never done LSD, and I had night terrors as a kid. Let's watch me play Lego Island Adventure. Oh man, I don't know. All of these blades of grass are starting to look just like all my issues with my father.
Other than that, you start thinking the main character is your dad.
It becomes a whole Joseph Campbell hero's journey where I have to atone with him by like painting the Lego race car with him or something. Wasn't that something you did in the
What
game? I know there was a
was
pizzeria.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You worked at a pizzeria. You were the delivery boy. You skateboarded. You wore your cap. You're the only one with a cap, I think. The Lego baseball caps. Remember how ridiculous those were? Anyway, um, who was your father figure? I think there was a professor. I don't know why, but I feel there was a professor in the game, he wasn't a doctor. He was a professor. The dude in the lab coat.
Oh man, if we're sitting here talking about father figures, the entire internet's gonna declare war on us.
The father figure of the fucking Lego game? Like, I guess. Is that worth declaring war over?
I don't
I
know.
guess so. I heard all that silence. I feel like there was a million people rolling their die, and they're like, if it's higher than a two, I'm gonna fucking declare war on them. Like at best, they're rolling a 1d4, and there's a 50% chance they won't declare war on us. Although for some reason I don't remember the mathematical explanation, there's actually a higher chance of rolling a three on a 1d4 than any other number. But yeah,
Really?
I never got it. I never got it. That's why when you roll multiple dice, you have a higher chance of getting higher than 50% as the sum, but the chances of getting like the maximum or the minimum are much smaller because you can't roll a one when you have two die, right? You'll at least roll a two.
Hmm. Ah, this is just inevitably going to end up being a Dungeons and Dragons campaign. I guess I should just start drafting up some sort of
I
thing
just
for y'all to
I don't
do
know.
now. No, 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 it's fine. Get a character sheet ready. You know what, Hocus? Just have one on hand. Um, we will definitely, we will definitely be having some kind of tabletop experience of some sort in the near future. That could be a good streaming thing. Something
Oh
on
man,
one day out of the maybe once a month. I don't know if I could do it once a week on top of other things.
oh man, once a month sounds perfect. Especially we can do like a long session once a month,
Oh yeah, it would be about. Let's see. I'd probably want to do it
like three,
at
four
least
hours.
2 hours. I don't want to really. I feel like after the second hour, you don't get anything that's going to be worth viewing. Like no one's going to want to view it after that. and any longer than that, it starts to derail anyways. I think 2 hours will keep things nice and tight. People won't, go off on too many weird strategies in combat or burn a lot of time with some kind of time limit. I think we could do it.
I hope so. I hope so. I've been in campaigns where like suddenly people want to have sex, and then it's like, how many people can we have sex with? And it's like, guys, we were just gonna sleep at the end. It wasn't supposed to become 4 hours of like competition on who could get more hookers. Like,
Well, that's your fault for playing Wraith Thu. That would be funny though to do a Wraith Thu campaign, but just with like nothing but straight dudes who don't take any of it seriously. Because if you play the game with a bunch of Tumblr chicks and queer dudes, they always want to be like, ew, I'm going to use my sex magic to have a better relationship with this character or that thing. And it's like, oh, okay. Let's,
the door does not open because it is locked. I jiggle my boobies at it. The door does not open because it is locked. I reveal my left nipple at it. The
I
door
mean, that's
doesn't
kind
open.
of funny. Like if you're playing a character who's just like a hooker or something, and she's just used to having all doors be opened the minute that she like jiggles her boobies or something, that would be funny. But no, I mean like really getting into your relationships with the people at the table, um, and getting involved in like romantic things. You know, um, I
Oh,
don't
that's
know.
weird. That's weird. Yeah,
Yeah,
Dungeons and Dragons is not a good place to enact real life scenarios.
how familiar are you with Wraith through the series in general?
I'm not.
Okay. So I bought this book at Barnes and Noble a long time ago when I was of the mistaken opinion, based on the cover of this omnibus of the entire trilogy, that what I was dealing with was some kind of really cool post apocalyptic sci fi fantasy adventure. And it is to an extent. Um, However, it's about how in the future society has collapsed. Um, Humanity is being supplanted by a race of beings called Wraithu, and they're essentially all dudes. They have no body fat. They don't get cancer. They don't really have to eat that much. They're just really pretty glam David Bowie dudes. They're the kind of gay dude that every like teenage girl and sexually stunted woman is into. And it's basically just a story about how they're slowly replacing humanity. I'm not really going to go into how they create other Wraithu because it's about exactly what you would think it would be in a book about people with sex magic powers and vagina flower penises. Um, but yeah, they made a tabletop about it, and the tabletop works about as well the same way you would think it would. Like if you don't have sex magic with your fellow party members, you'll like lose your heart light and die or something.
Oh, how romantic. I've never lost my heart light before. I bet it feels awesome.
Heartlight was
Making you
another
laugh.
really great series, another great book, but that one wasn't weird. That one was actually fun. It's about a little girl who has to go live with her uncle, and she finds out that her uncle is actually a physicist and an eccentric who has been researching lots of stuff involving stars and foreign celestial bodies. And he and a couple of rogue scientists have figured out how to become stars. She meets
Okay.
like a race of sentient ice people at one point. That one was cool though because kind of like Hatchet, she has to use real world survival and physics to like get out of a snowbed when she's trapped in an avalanche or something. It's she has to do real things. She's on a real adventure. Thank you
Cool.
for indulging my TED tangent.
No, no, I was just thinking like I hope it just doesn't go too tedious on the description of the every little thing. Not your thing, like the it sounded like this author you were talking about might go too into detail, like too J.R. Tolkien on a lot of the ambience of the situations, as opposed to describing what actually happened.
Kind of, yeah, it's definitely the writing style is definitely yeah, the writing style is definitely the kind that likes to indulge. That is for sure. Oof, this is not going to go well. All right, Nine Tails, we're going to see if this was the right choice. Ugh.
Great Dark Pulse's single target. For a second, I was like, "No, you killed your Gengar." Like,
No, nah. That would suck if it was. I would be totally screwed if that was the.
one thing that is cool is I know both Ninetales and Arcanine have this move, this ability that if they get hit by a fire type move, their fire type moves go up in damage. If you take, I think there's a couple of moves. Incinerate might be one of them. I think Overheat is another one. I'm not sure, but they hit your ally also. So they can sit there and hit each other and like keep stacking power, and like they won't take damage from the hit because it's fire type.
Interesting.
You can do it with electric types too. If they have a lightning rod, their special attack will go up. So you can sit
Hmm.
there with two guys that have discharge and lightning rod and just continue to power each other up instead of having to sit there and do like storage dance or nasty plot or whatever the thing is. Like you can build a team that in dual battles will the longer they're in there, the more powerful they'll become because they keep hitting each other with moves that power them up. Or
Interesting.
with water type you can do healing. With water type you can do water absorb and then just do like a muddy water, I believe is one of their most powerful moves, that AoE.
Yeah, that would be handy right now.
I was thinking of doing that, like having two fire types and like pairing them up like that, two waters and maybe two lightnings or whatever, and seeing if I could get like the benefits of.
Ah, if only.
I'm gonna play Pokemon Puzzle.
Oh, you're good. I'm trying to. Right now, I'm basically locked in a struggle with in a struggle session with the twins that summon Mothra.
That sounds cool.
You would think, but not so much, really. God, if Gengar knew Levitate, I would be in business because I could just hit Earthquake and everything would be golden.
Can Gengar learn Magnet Rise? Because that is essentially Levitate. Gengar can learn Skill Swap, and if you have a teammate that has Levitate,
Hmm.
Gengar can take his skill. But more importantly, you shouldn't be worried about like if you're gonna do Skill Swap with Gengar, you should find someone that has a skill called Normalize, because Normalize makes all incoming damage normal type, and Gengar being Ghost is immune to normal type damage.
Really?
Yes,
Oh yeah, no,
it's
duh, yeah, of
totally
course they're immune to
possible.
that. It just goes through them. They're ghosts.
Yeah,
Duh.
I saw a video on this, like someone built a team to do it, and I was like, oh my god, that's crazy. In PvP, you're not supposed to be able to take more than one. Like you can have only have one Gengar on your team, one Blastoise, one one of each. But you can have one Gengar, one Haunter, one Ghastly. Right? That's not the same Pokemon. So the team ended up being that you took a Gengar and a Haunter, and between the two of them, like you would swap one out to the Pokemon that had normalized, and then bring in the other ghost after you had like set the condition. It was interesting. I thought it was pretty cool.
Hmm. I mean, I'm all for adding interesting new mechanics to it that aren't just things like, oh, you should give your Pokemon a bow. That'll give it a sassy award at the Pokemon shows. Or another secret base mechanic that no one asked for. I mean, maybe if it did something. You know what I mean? Otherwise, it's just reminding me that it's a mechanic we've added so that kids don't think about the fact that they can't just go out and make a clubhouse anymore because everyone lives in the city and rents.
Well, I want to say there's nothing wrong with renting, but that's a lie.
Everything is wrong with renting. Renting sucks. I hate it.
I said it was a lie.
Let's see. How many? I haven't even been keeping track of badges with this. All right, one more to go. But where is it? Let's check the map. Okay, I guess it's either at Sotopolis, which I guess is the industrial heart of this region, or it's in Evergrande City, where I guess all the rich people who profit off of Sotopolis live so that they don't have to live in Sotopolis.
Soultopolis, right above the place where nature dies topless.
Nature always dies topless.
Welcome to Final Fantasy VII.
Huh, I guess that was the plot of Final Fantasy VII. Team Rocket's basically Avalanche in this game.
Doesn't that make them the good guys? Terrorist good
Well,
guys? I don't know.
was Avalanche really the good guys?
I don't know.
I mean, it's not like they're really creating a viable energy alternative for them besides Mako, whatever. They're not really creating any kind of viable alternative to it. They just want to smash the system, but then it's like, okay, so what are they going to do? Are they all just going to live in Cosmo Canyon? Is that the goal?
Mako, Patty, Keiko, Bomgo, Alpha, Life a Taco.
I mean, it's sort of like the whole idea that people want to, I'm all for reducing your footprint or whatever, but efficiency waste. We should try to cut these things out of our system. That's not really a controversial thing to say, but if you just want to like tear everything down and then have everyone live in some quaint pastoral feudalistic society, you know what, you first. I'd like to see them do it first. They won't. They want you to be a peasant so that they can continue to blast the AC.
What they don't know is I've always been a peasant.
I mean, the real problem is that everyone in America is a peasant, even if they have money. It's what Alexis de Tocqueville was getting at when he talked about America being a classless society. He didn't just mean it in the sense of social mobility or the fact that in America we don't really give a shit about the fact that, like, oh, my dad was the king of whatever or the earl of such and such. We don't give a shit. What did you do? What are your accomplishments? But in that same token, we're also a classless society in that you're never going to find anyone who does have the air of nobility that was once associated with the ruling classes. It's just antithetical to America at its heart, you know?
Yeah.
Which I don't think is something that we should see as a impossible hurdle or anything. I think it's actually good when you hear people talking about return or monarchy versus dictatorship. One of the big things they're getting at is it's not even about the leader guy. It's not about the dictator. It's not about having someone who is fixing all the problems for you or whatever. It's actually more about returning to some sort of sense of responsibility, a sense of care, a sense of, the realm. No one really feels tied to the realm of America.
Yeah, that's true.
No one
The most
feels,
American thing you can do is say you're not American.
yeah, there's no such thing as noblesse oblige in America. And I'm not, and the closest we get to it is like, oh, Elon Musk, he's going to buy Twitter. He's going to swoop in and save it. That's the closest we have to a nobility that involves itself in matters of the realm.
Uh, yeah, yeah, but I mean,
It's not going to be the
it
social
doesn't.
justice people. Every single person that we know who is big on social justice and shit will admit to me in private that they don't care about morality. They don't care about ethics. That they believe that you should just step on anyone and everyone who gets in your way to get what you want. And then afterwards, you can just rewrite it to where you were the hero the whole time. I mean, we're definitely in short supply of heroes right now, and I don't mean in the hero's journey transformative sense. I mean people who are really gonna actually be brave and speak truth to power and call people out on this shit, and then care about, like, it's more than just calling people out or being brave. It's actually about creating calculated plans, figuring out how these systems work, figuring out how you can either stymie the ones that need to be stymied, take control of the ones that need to be taken control of, or how to just completely sabotage the ones that need to be sabotaged. Like, if anyone out there is listening right now and you work at a restaurant where they do all these third party apps where they have DoorDash or Uber or Grubhub or Favor or GoPuff. I think I've seen ads for GoPuff. Um, just
I've
start
seen that.
fucking up the orders. Just start making things wrong, because then what are they going to do? They're just going to say it was the driver or something, and eventually all of these parasitic businesses will fall apart because people will just buy delivery from that pizza place. They won't go through DoorDash or Uber. They'll just have to go to that place. The left doesn't have to be the only group of people who sabotage things.
Oh my goodness, I can already hear the complaints like, oh man, but you're ruining my job. But you literally took a job to ruin someone else's job. Your job is to ruin, like, the restaurant you're picking their food up from, you're ruining that guy's job. That's
Yes,
the job you took.
they are
And you want me to
parasites.
be sorry that you want me to feel sorry that your job's being ruined because that guy's job's being fixed, the guy whose job you ruined. Like, no. That's not how it
Like,
works.
if you're driving for one of these companies and you're on hard times and it's getting you by, good for you. I hope things turn around for you soon. I hope that everything gets better in your life. You definitely shouldn't even be in that position in the first place. But frankly, most of the people I see driving for these businesses tend to be people who are not here legally. Like people who are here from Africa, people who are here from other parts of the world who I'm pretty sure someone from an NGO gave them, a debit card, and this is like no one. Okay, you're telling me honestly that you came here from, Kenya, Nairobi, wherever, and got to America, and you're driving a Lexus while driving for DoorDash, and I'm supposed to assume that nobody's backing you? I don't know. A
Well,
lot of
that was
things are not
something
adding
I
up.
never that was something I never understood. Like as an American, there's so many things that I don't have access to, including healthcare and stuff like that. That an illegal immigrant can come here, go to Walmart, and at Walmart get a credit card, a phone, like with that be able to get anything they want. Walk out with televisions, walk out with whatever they want. They can go to a fucking used car shop, or they can go to a police auction and get themselves a Lexus, like you're saying. Like they can be like so well off. But if I start trying to do that shit, then I gotta like report it on taxes and a whole bunch of shit. And like then they're gonna start asking questions. They're gonna be like, well, if you afforded the car, how did you pay for your medication? You said your medication cost this much. It's like, well, the car's fucking because the police shot someone 40 times in there and it still smells like bullets and blood and like blah blah blah. And they're like, no, it's a Lexus. You go to jail. I don't know.
No, I mean
I
exactly.
don't know.
That's the problem is that see, your parents immigrated here, and when they came here, they were brown. But now you were born in America, so that means you're white. As far as the people who are giving out these things are concerned, they want both of us to die. They want everyone in America to die, and it's got nothing about race or gender or sexuality. Like the fact of the matter is that essentially they've already pretty much drained the current American people for all that they're worth. They've taken all the value out of them. They've taken out all of their money. They've sucked them into giant debt traps. There's literally nothing they can get out of the American people anymore. And so, like any race of vampires, they are now trying to find other groups of people whom they can trick with the same tricks again. Like you're not going to be able to trick the American people with the housing bubble and subprime lending again. You need a new group of people in order to do that. You need new
Slightly
people
different condition.
who don't understand negotiations, or people who are coming from a lower standard of living who will therefore negotiate it lower. And again, the upper middle class bougie liberals know exactly what they're doing. They just think that because they're safe from it, it's because they're better than you, when in reality, no, they're just money appropriators who found nice organizations to latch onto, like barnacles. Most of them are complete blithering idiots, honestly. I remember one time in law school just sitting in a room while all these faggots, because it was the out LGBTQ whatever meeting, and I had told them, hey, I got a lot of stuff to do tonight, so I'm coming by. I want to be more involved. I want to be more social. I want to, network some more, but I'm also kind of busy, so I'll just stick around. And that was basically my easy out. Well, they spent the entire hour and a half debating over dual minority status, and like who are they going to promote. Are they going to try to promote more lesbians? Should they try to have a trans woman? Should they find someone bisexual? How many black people are we including? And I was just like, can't we just have the organizational meeting, and if we let everyone come, then everyone will come? It's just, again, it's tell you want to act like they want to act like they're better than the Christians or any of the theologians, when tell me the difference between that and arguing how many angels can dance on the head of a pin. You can't. There's no difference. How many identities can dance within the head of a single woman of color?
I, I I need a lot more time, a piece of paper, and a pen to be able to answer that one.
And again, these are the people who are supposed to be the aristocracy of this country. Like Tocqueville said, the lawyers are supposed to be the people who maintain the values of society. In fact, upright citizenship and dedication to the community and the commonwealth are part of your bar licensure. And most of them are down the rabbit hole with this critical theory horse shit. Most of them shouldn't even be legally practicing law. Most of them should be disbarred.
I'd say that's a little harsh, but that
I
would
mean,
be a
again,
lot.
I know way too many lawyers who have been posting comments about Roe v. Wade on Facebook, and it's just, dude, you know what you're saying is false. You know what you're saying is a lie. And not even, various issues about the subject. I mean, just the legal issues involved in the debate. It's again because it's the same as with when Obamacare came out, and the issue was whether or not they had the authority to do it. Like, you don't have to like it, but we all basically knew in law school that the authority to do it existed. It was just a matter of whether we thought that authority should be used. In the same regard, the lines along which they'd made that decision to overrule Roe v. Wade within the context of the case itself, the case they were deciding right then, made sense. Overruling it made sense. And it had nothing to do with abortion at all. It had to do with overstepping federal authority. Like, in law
Exactly.
school, you actually have to go over Lochner v. New York, a case back in the 1930s during the FDR New Deal era. And in that case, one of the ways they don't tell you that they got the 40-hour work week is that they found all the people trying to work 50, 60, 70 plus hours a week, trying to get extra money in their pocket, trying to find a way to get ahead. All of them had to stop working extra hours because they were harboring and they were being greedy little labor piggies, hogging all the labor for themselves. And one guy sued because he thought that he should have the right to work however long he wanted for as long as he wanted. And the court said, no, you don't have this freedom of contract that the right says you have. And of course, there's no freedom of contract right in the Constitution, but they claim that it exists because it's suggested by various other parts of the Constitution. They didn't use the term penumbras like they do in all the abortion laws, but again, it was the exact same type of argument. And without fail, even today, in when I was there, both in undergrad taking a class on the subject and in law school, you've got people who will say, point blank, freedom of contract doesn't exist. Where does it say that in the Constitution? We have the authority to pass these New Deal laws. We're going to do it. And the right loses. And then we get to Roe v. Wade a couple decades later. And suddenly, all those liberals who said this stuff about strict constructionism, that rights don't exist unless they're explicitly stated, suddenly all of them see all of this stuff. Suddenly, all this penumbra's made up argument, made up right shit makes sense. And they defend it and they don't bat an eye. And again, first and foremost, it's a bunch of women who are ready to throw the 40-hour work week under the bus just so they can have abortions, because really that just speaks to how comfortable most women are, which is the 40-hour work week doesn't have to be a priority or a concern from them. They can just bail on life and shack up in somebody else's whenever they feel like it. So of course they'll throw the 40-hour work week away. But oh no, they have to have their abortions. You better not make them ever have to have any consequences for anything. And yes, I know that there are lots of extenuating circumstances. There's rape, there's all these other things. Those are minuscule. Ectopic pregnancies are not abortions, and stop trying to tell people that they are. Um, at the end of the day, this is an argument for convenience. And if you want to have your convenience treated as a right, then you have to start extending that to other people. You can't be an uppity, self righteous cunt with a made up degree in gender studies or marketing or something, walking around like you actually know something when you don't. You are a bimbo. You're a bimbo who was milked by the government for federal loan money, and now you're being called out for the fraud that you are. Thank you for coming to my TED tangent. Use Earthquake.
Oh, Pokemon. I was like, what app is that? I've never heard of that app. I need to check it out. Earthquake.
Sorry, dude. Again, I've been
www.earthquake.com.
keeping so much shit silent just for the sake of people eventually getting health care or maternity leave or better paying jobs or actual economic reform, and finding out that these bimbos have known the entire time that all of the critiques about this being just a bunch of corporate bullshit, that the corporations were literally just selling out the left by getting the left to do it with identity politics. Like, oh, it doesn't matter. We're going to grind people up into a paste, but we made it a trans woman the CEO, so now it's fine. Well, again, like, you're still people who want to grind people up into waste. Um, I kind of feel like you should be the one who's liquidated.
Right?
We're
If
supposed to not be cool with Nazis, right? That sounds like a fascism to me.
it's funny what people are willing to give up when they're not the ones giving it up.
Well, no, exactly. They want you to give up everything so that they can stay comfortable because they deserve it. Like, think about all the communists we know, like the people who are, not just liberal or, lefty corporate, but the people who consider themselves to be actual communists. Um, they always like to play this game like class and status don't matter, but their class and their status matter a lot to them, don't they?
Typically, I want to say yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, it's all about power, it's all about lies, it's all about manipulation and control. And no matter how much they try to say it's anything else, it's not. They just want things. They want things and they hate you.
Uh,
I'm sorry, you really got me off on a on a on a rant there, Hocus. Perhaps we should just call it an evening. I've found myself on an island city full of nipple huts. So perhaps we should just call it a quits for tonight and reconvene next week. Same Pokemon time, same Pokemon place.
like next week, I guess.
Yeah. All right then, folks. It's been a blast. I have no idea what we're doing or where we're going, but hey, does America